I collect peripherals for many different systems. I love having gadgets that allow you to do things, to allow you to play games in different ways. So just recently, I got the uDraw GameTablet for the Nintendo Wii. Made as a beginner's computer art tablet of sorts, it's like a My First Wacom. Heh, Wacom for the Wii. That sounds bad. Out of the box, the system itself is well designed and quite sturdy. I mean, I wouldn't throw it across the room to the TV, but it is made with kids in mind and probably can take quite a beating. The cord attaching the stylus to the device is nice and flexible, but a bit short for me. But in all honesty, its length does keep it from getting tangled around something and being pulled out. The stylus, while made for smaller hands than mine, is wieldy enough to work with larger hands of adults. The tip of the stylus acts as a button itself, and there's a long one to the side. Och, you got the wee Wacom there, laddie! Your Wacom's wee! It's wee! And finally, there's an area to put the Wiimote into. Some future games will work off of the balance of the internal sensors. And I also like the size of it. It's small and can tuck away very nicely. It's not like other game peripherals that are huge and take up a lot of space. And the drawing surface may seem a bit too tiny for some people, but when you consider that you're going to be drawing and you're going to be looking at the TV screen for the majority of the time, it's not bad at all. So let's look at the game menus and see how this thing works. Wacom for Nintendo! We got styluses! Styluses. There's the tutorial area with several bits of information on basic controls. Then there's the different sections that you will be using more than others. Paint, which is your basic drawing program. Coloring book, which has several templates for you to just fill in. There's the gallery area where all of your saved artwork is kept. And then there's the settings area. When you start, the tutorial will guide you through...
There are roughly 35 minutes allowed per image.
30 minutes?
There are roughly 35 minutes allowed per image.
Are you kidding me? Nobody can finish a piece of artwork on this thing in 30 minutes. Wait a second. They mean 30 minutes of actual drawing. Okay, I see. See, every time you make a line, it counts towards your 30 minutes. Fractions of seconds. So you really do have plenty of time to draw something. But you can only draw so much. This is so that the program can redraw your image from the beginning for you. And that's one of my major complaints about this system. Yes, you can draw and edit from all the way back to when you first started. Well, okay, it is kind of a really amazing feature. But only being able to draw so much before you have to stop really is a nuisance. I mean, given that it's a very cool feature, but I would have liked to have seen something where you could reduce the number of undos and increase the amount of time that you have drawing. Now, albeit that it will be enough time for most people, but I could see some artists really getting frustrated at the limitations. And that's what they are, limitations. And with a program of this genre, limitations are exactly what you do not need. But for kids who like to draw quickly, it won't be a hindrance. They'll be able to show what they drew to family and friends, and they won't even think about the time left that they have to draw. Say, what's that, son?
Oh, come on, Pop. It's a knight with a sword, and a castle, and a key, and a dragon. Jeez, Dad, use your imagination.
Ha ha ha! That's my boy! Also, there isn't a lot of tutorial on how to actually use the system. I mean, sure, it gives an explanation of tools in the manual and on how to do something, but there's no practical application that walks you through it. I made quite a few mistakes until I learned how to shade correctly, what drawing medium looks best at what times, and the basic usage of the GameTablet. If you're going to make a sophisticated piece of kit for the Wii that's targeted towards younger players, then teaching them how to use it is really essential. I mean, even Art Academy for the DS had tutorials on how to use the program. And it was for the DS, a system with much less memory and processing power. However, after only about 20 minutes or so, I got the hang of working with different mediums and really got the knack of working with the stylus. Showing a master painter using the program is all well and good, but it means nothing if you don't give help on technique and how to use the stylus correctly. The stylus. It can be a bit difficult to get used to. Okay, so if you use the button on the side of the stylus, drawing is not really that hard. You just press down on the button and move across the game tablet. But if you want to utilize the heavy and light, the thick and thin aspects of the program, then it's going to be tougher because you won't use the side button. You'll use the tip like a brush or a pen. Now, it's not a sensor per se, it's a pressure button. And it's a very clever design, allowing you to use the art program to allow you to press harder to make heavier lines and ease up to make lighter or thinner lines. But the problem is that the button at the tip is very stiff, and I had to push down kind of hard with the stylus, and I also had to do it upright to make it work. But I personally hold a pencil at an angle, so this was kind of awkward as the tip doesn't work well at an angle, and I fell into using the side button of the stylus. Had the tip been less stiff, then it would have been a dream to use. But as it is, you'll have to get used to using it straight up if you want to use that bit of a program. This might just be the model that I used, but it was an inconvenience. Another complaint is that it's not made for left-handed people. You can't even flip the Wiimote over to make it left-hand accessible. And this is not a nitpicky complaint, it's a genuine one. Now, I'm not left-handed, and the tablet was made to be held, so you can do quick changing of tools and resizing on the fly with your thumb and forefinger on the Wiimote. But if you are left-handed, which an estimated 20 to 30% of the US is, that's a huge demographic. Barack Obama, Michelangelo, Shigeru Miyamoto, Link, well then you're SOL. THQ, left-handed tablets, get on it! And please remember, this is a kid's toy. It's not a professional tool. By any stretch of the imagination. Any! But then again, it wasn't made to be. It was made to be a game. It was made for kids from the get-go. And that's just what it is. As an artistic training device, I can really see it being very useful. And since people can place their images onto an SD card and upload them from their computers, this might make for some interesting new DeviantArt pages. It's a fun program, and it's a sturdy peripheral, but I just can't see many adults getting it unless they really want to draw. And kids might get confused on how to do specific things, but they will have fun just piddle-farting around with it. Look, Ma, no mess. All in all, it's a nice game and a nice peripheral. I don't see much happening with the upcoming games like Pictionary. You would think that it would work well, but since you have to draw by looking at the television screen and not on the pad itself, well, it could be fairly difficult for beginners who know nothing of the uDraw program. Of the positives, it's got a sturdy design and was made to last. The program is fast to learn, and you can save your images to an SD card and put them on a computer later on. Of the negatives, the program isn't as powerful as it could be. There's a 30-minute time limit for your artwork, and there's no tutorial on how to use some of the more interesting devices. The target audience here is going to be kids and artists. Sports fanatics, unless you're an artist, don't get this game. I just want to say, I think this is a great idea, but there's so much more room for expansion. I'd love to see a secondary disc that's aimed for an advanced audience, or even a disc that taught drawing. There are many options for the peripheral, and I would hate to see this game system fall to the wayside, like the Beatmania PS2 controller did here in the US. So because of the sturdiness of the tablet and the surprisingly nice art program, I rate this game and its peripheral a 7 out of 10. It's just not for you if you aren't an artist. But if you are, it's a fun program and it would be interesting to see what you could do with it.
For Nintendo! Welcome for Nintendo! I think I will draw with Chuck! Oh, my artwork's gonna make you gawk!
No, that doesn't work. I'm sorry.